People who find this message will leave in the next 20 seconds, not because they don't care, because something in them is afraid of what staying might ask of them. God doesn't appear to everyone. He never has. He moves only toward the ones who are finally ready to stop searching outside themselves and turn inward toward the one place they have never fully looked. If something in your chest just shifted when I said that if something quietly recognized those words before your mind could process them, then you were not meant to leave, you were meant to stay. Because what I am about to tell you in the next few minutes will not feel like new information. It will feel like something you have always known but never had the words for. And those words today are finally here. Tonight, I want to talk to you about that key. Not metaphorically, not spiritually in the vague, untethered way that leaves you feeling briefly inspired and then quietly hollow when the message ends and ordinary life floods back in. I want to talk to you about something real, about a shift in consciousness that is measurable, reproducible, and available to anyone whose awareness has matured to the point where they can receive it without immediately dismissing it. And if you are still here, if something in you leaned slightly forward when I said that, then your awareness is already there. You are already at the threshold. Let me begin with something that might unsettle you gently, a version of God that most people encounter in books, in forums, in teachings that speak of him only in hushed reverence and dramatic light. That version is incomplete, not false. Incomplete because God, at his deepest level, is not a figure to be worshipped from a distance. He is not a cosmic gatekeeper who selects the worthy and turns away the rest. He is something far more intimate, far more unsettling, and far more powerful than that. He is the part of your own consciousness that has been attempting to reach you for your entire life. The voice beneath your voice, the knowing beneath your knowledge, the frequency that hums in the spaces where fear has not yet reached. And the reason he feels external, the reason he presents himself as something arriving from outside, as a visitation, as a presence that enters from beyond, is not because he is external. It is because most people have wandered so far from their own interior that when something true arises from within, it feels like it is coming from somewhere else. It feels like revelation because ordinary consciousness so rarely touches the depth where this awareness lives. This is the first thing God teaches, and it is the thing almost no one says clearly. He is not coming for you. He is already you. The awakening is not an arrival, it is a remembering. Take a breath with that. Let it sit somewhere real in your chest, rather than sliding through your mind as another interesting idea you will forget in an hour. Because this distinction between God as something external to be pursued and God as something internal to be recognized changes everything about how you move through the world. It changes what you are looking for. It changes where you look. It changes the entire quality of your seeking, because you realize, perhaps for the first time with real clarity, that you have not been searching for something you lost. You have been searching for something you covered. Now let me tell you what covered it, and I want to be honest here, in a way that goes past the comfortable version of this conversation. What covered the deepest, most sovereign part of your awareness was not darkness. It was not trauma alone, though trauma is part of it. What covered it was something more ordinary and more insidious than anything dramatic. What covered it was the accumulated weight of every moment you chose the interpretation that made you smaller. Every moment you took an experience and concluded from it that you were somehow less than you felt yourself to be. Every moment the outside world offered you a reflection of limitation, and you accepted it as truth. This is the mechanism, not evil, not cosmic punishment, not the result of being unchosen or unprepared, simply the natural consequence of a consciousness that learned, very early, that it was safer to be smaller. And that lesson repeated enough times, reinforced by enough experiences, confirmed by enough voices, became a lens. The lens became invisible, and the invisible lens became what you called reality. Most people live their entire lives inside that lens without ever knowing it is there. They think the world they perceive is the world as it is. They think their thoughts about themselves are observations rather than interpretations. They think the ceiling they keep running into is a fact of existence rather than the precise height of a belief they have never examined. You are not one of those people. The fact that you are here, the fact that something in you keeps reaching, keeps questioning, keeps returning to the sense that there is more available, tells me that some part of you has always known the lens was there. Some part of you has always sensed that what you could see was not the whole picture. And that part, that persistent, unsilenceable, knowing that is God, not arriving, already present, simply waiting for your conscious mind to catch up. So what does it actually mean to awaken to Him? What does it feel like, beyond the language of emerald light and cosmic selection, when a person genuinely begins to access this level of their own awareness? I want to tell you what it actually looks like, because I think the dramatized version has done more harm than good. I think it has made people wait for something extraordinary when the real shift is almost embarrassingly quiet. It looks like noticing a thought you have had 10,000 times, and for the first time, not believing it, but automatically it looks like a moment of genuine stillness in the middle of a life that never stops moving, where you are suddenly aware of the awareness itself, not the content of your mind, but the fact that something is observing the content. It looks like the moment you stop performing, even for yourself, when the interior monologue drops its performance, and something underneath it simply is, present, clear, unbothered by the noise above it. That moment, that quality of presence, is what every mystical tradition in human history has been pointing toward. God is one name for it. Consciousness is another. The observer, the witness, the inner knowing, the soul, all different languages for the same territory. The territory that exists beneath thought, beneath emotion, beneath identity, beneath all the constructed layers of self that you have built in order to survive the world as it was given to you. And here is what that territory is like when you actually touch it. Not in theory, but in genuine experience. It is not dramatic. It does not announce itself with light shows or tingles or visions, though sometimes those things happen as byproducts. What it is this. It is quiet. It is spacious. It is present. It does not argue with reality. It does not resist what is. It does not spend its energy wishing things were other than they are. It simply sees what is real. It holds what is real with a quality of attention that is both fierce and gentle at once. And it knows without needing to explain or defend or prove that beneath all the noise, beneath all the fear, beneath all the constructed identities and performances and protections you are, and have always been fundamentally okay. Not okay because life is easy, not okay because you have achieved something or fixed yourself or become someone worthy of approval, but okay in a way that exists prior to achievement and independent of approval. Okay in the way that a mountain is okay present, solid, unbothered by the weather that passes over it. This is not a metaphor. This is a literal description of what the ground of consciousness feels like when you touch it directly. And the reason most people never touch it is not because it is hidden or inaccessible or reserved for the spiritually advanced. It is because they are too busy arguing with their experience to notice the awareness that is holding the experience. They are too busy trying to become someone different to recognize the consciousness that already is, too busy seeking what they already are to stop and feel it. Here is what I want you to understand, not as a concept, but as a living recognition. Everything you have been taught to believe about yourself, every story, every identity, every limitation, every ceiling, every belief about what is possible or impossible for you is a structure. It is a structure you built, and structures, however elaborate, however long they have been standing, can be revised, can be rebuilt, can be, when you finally see them, be clearly for what they are, simply set down. Let me tell you what it looks like when someone actually begins to set it down. Not in a single dramatic moment of enlightenment, though those happen occasionally, and they are as disorienting as they sound, but in the ordinary incremental way that most genuine transformation actually occurs. It looks like a pause before a reaction. A moment where the habitual response, the one that would have come automatically a year ago, doesn't quite come automatically anymore, where something creates a small space between the trigger and the response. And in that space a choice becomes visible that wasn't visible before. Neuroscience has a name for this. It is called expanding the window of tolerance. It is the process by which the nervous system, through repeated practice of staying present rather than contracting or exploding in response to difficulty, gradually becomes capable of holding more emotion, more uncertainty, more complexity, without losing the thread of awareness, without becoming the reaction rather than the person having it. This is what God's territory feels like from the inside when you are living it rather than seeking it. It feels like a gradually increasing capacity to be in your life without being swept away by it, like the floor of your experience, getting more solid, even as the surface of it remains unpredictable. Like developing through no single dramatic breakthrough, but through the accumulated practice. Vary, again and again, to the awareness beneath the noise, like developing a relationship with the part of yourself that the noise cannot reach. That relationship is the most important relationship of your life, more foundational than any external relationship, though it makes all of them better. More determining of your experience than any circumstance. Those circumstances still matter and always will. More available to you than any teacher or teaching, though both can be valuable because it is not located in the external world at all. It is located in the depth of your own being, and it has been there, available, patient, completely unwavering, for every single moment of your existence. God's oldest name, if you go back far enough through the layers of history that accumulated around him, is wisdom. Not the accumulation of knowledge, not the possession of correct beliefs, but something that the ancient Greeks understood with a precision that modern language sometimes loses the direct perception of what is real. The ability to see through the constructed to the essential, the capacity to be in the presence of confusion, of contradiction, of genuine mystery, and to remain clear enough to act wisely within it. This is what awakening actually grows in you. Not certainty, not the elimination of doubt or difficulty or the ambiguity of being human, but the capacity to hold all of that clearly, to see it honestly, and to move through it with the kind of groundedness. But the ground to be perfectly steady in order to walk. Feel that for a moment, the implications of it. If your peace, your genuine, functional sense of being okay in the world is not dependent on circumstances being right, not dependent on other people behaving correctly, not dependent on the future unfolding as you hope. If it is rooted somewhere deeper than all of that, then you are, in the most practical and non-dramatic sense of the word, free. Not free from the experience of difficulty, free within it. free to be present in it, to respond to it with your full intelligence rather than your contracted fear, to make choices from clarity rather than survival. This is what the pursuit of God, when it is genuine rather than performative, actually builds. Not a more impressive spiritual identity, not a more exotic inner life, but a more fundamental freedom. The freedom that comes from no longer being entirely at the mercy of what happens to you, because who you are has become larger than what happens to you. Now let me bring this home to something specific, something you can actually do, not as a technique, not as a practice you perform and then set aside, but as an orientation you can begin to live from, starting now in the actual circumstances of your actual life. Begin to notice the quality of your awareness at any given moment. Not the content, not what you are thinking or feeling, but the quality of the awareness itself. Is it contracted, bead, already certain what it will find? Or is it open, curious, genuinely receptive to what is actually present rather than what it expected to find? This distinction between contracted awareness and open awareness is the most fundamental choice available to you in any moment. And it is available in every moment, regardless of circumstance, regardless of how you feel, regardless of what is happening around you. Contracted awareness is not a failure. It is a response to perceived threat, and it is entirely natural. But it is worth knowing that contracted awareness, even when it feels protective, actually reduces your access to the very intelligence and perception you most need when difficulty arises. It narrows your field of vision precisely when wide vision would serve you best. And open awareness, the deliberate practice choice to remain receptive even when something in you wants to close, is not naive. It is not ignoring danger. It is maintaining access to your full capacity precisely when your full capacity is most needed. This is a practice, not a dramatic one, not one that requires extraordinary circumstances or extended retreat. A practice you can begin in this conversation, in this moment, with the simple act of noticing whether your awareness is contracted or open right now, and if it is contracted, making the quiet internal choice to soften it, just slightly, just enough to let a little more in, and then tomorrow do it again. In the difficult, be in the frustrating conversation, in the moment of loneliness or uncertainty or self-doubt, notice the contraction and make the choice. Not perfectly, not always, but with increasing frequency, with increasing skill, building over time the capacity to remain open in a world that constantly invites closure. That is God's practical gift, not visions, not cosmic selection, not the thrill of feeling chosen, but the slow, steady, profoundly dignified development of a consciousness that has learned to remain present in its own life, that has learned to receive what is real rather than only what it expected, that has learned finally and functionally that the depth it has been searching for was never somewhere else, was never in a different life, a different body, a different set of circumstances, was always here, has always been here, is here now. You are not behind. You have not missed the window, the awareness that is reading these words, that has followed this conversation this far, that found something in it worth staying, for that awareness is already at the threshold. The question was never whether God would choose you. The question was whether you would choose to look in the direction He has always been pointing, inward, downward, beneath the noise, into the part of you that has never needed to be chosen, because it has never, not for a single moment of your existence, been anything other than whole. That wholeness is not a destination. It is your nature, and the journey, the real one, the one that lasts and matters and changes everything, is simply the lifelong practice of returning to it, of remembering it when you forget, of choosing it again when something pulls you away, of treating it not as an achievement to be reached, but as a ground to be cultivated. God waits in that ground. He always has. And every time you choose presence over performance, depth over distraction, genuine inquiry over comfortable certainty, every time you do that, in any moment, in any circumstance, you are meeting him. You are, in the only sense that ultimately matters, already home.